Okay, hello. So let's talk about a paradox and how thinking about paradoxes and what they are can help us eliminate some of our drama in our life that's causing us, extra suffering that we don't need. Okay, so I've been really thinking about how, um, like my husband doesn't have as much drama. Doug doesn't have as much drama as me, and what it is, and sometimes I'm able to kind of get away from the drama and really see like the whole picture. And what really gave me that perspective is, um, thinking of things in paradoxical ways. Okay, so what is a paradox? It is two opposing ideas held together at the same times, at the same time. Okay, for example, let's take confidence. We can say that you are a confident person, right? And we can also say at the same time that you're also not a confident person, right? How can that be true at the same time? Well, because you are one person who sometimes is confident in some ways and a person who's also not confident in other ways, right? And we can find evidence for both of them. So we can hold the idea that you are confident and not confident, okay, as you as one person, okay. Another great example we just did, right, with coaching, right? So I just thought we we can say I love coaching because it gets me results, it's very practical, I can apply it, it makes me feel better, I can find a new approach, da, da, da. We can also say coaching, I'm tired of coaching, it requires me to be open, it requires me to be vulnerable, sometimes I don't feel like doing any of that, sometimes it feels like a lot of work, and sometimes I don't like to be challenged, right? So I'm tired of coaching. So we can say that both are true, right? Not a, you can even say both are true at the same time. Like, and sometimes it's true, right? We're like show up to the coaching call where we are a kind of ambivalent. We're like, okay, I kind of know it works, but I kind of don't feel like doing it. So you love it, you want to get the results, but you also don't feel like doing it, right? That's a paradox, right? Like you don't want to coach, but you also want to coach, okay? And the one that I thought would be useful, the one when it's super useful for us, is when we apply it to something that we are strongly attached to. Like if we're strongly attached to, we believe very much that, like for me, I'm like, I used to believe, oh, I'm just a terrible mom for yelling, right? Then that applying a paradoxical approach to me was very useful to say, I'm a terrible mom and I'm a good mom. And for me to stretch into that, to see both sides of it, was very useful because I did not believe that I'm a good mom in that moment. But to see that yes, sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm bad, was very useful for me because I was able to create some distance between me and that belief and just really look at them both and look how there's evidence for both all the time in all of my life, and I can forever keep finding evidence for both, right? And it's just when I believe this one, I suffer, okay? So for you, I thought with your mom could be very interesting to hold like that you're a bad daughter and a good daughter in two hands and to explore. And I put it here on the board as a sliding scale, good daughter being on one side and bad daughter on the other, and that's a paradox, right? Like one, they're two opposites, how can they both be true at the same time? So if you are not, if you're thinking you're a terrible daughter, shitty daughter, and you don't want to think that or feel it, so you kind of avoid it, right? And you're like, put it under the rug, right? But what's what you can do sometimes, and we've done it with you, right? We're like, how actually are you a great daughter? And we found so many amazing ways how you want to help, you do help, you have them stay in your house, you make them, have them prep dinner, right? Or like you'd ask her, you talk to her, like all these things that you do because you love her so much and you are want to care and you want to help and you feel bad, and that's all coming from such a good intention, and all of that is how you are an amazing daughter, right? But you're not seeing that because your identity is I'm a shitty daughter, right? So this is when for you it would be very useful to look. So right? The sliding scale is for you to see where am I on the sliding scale. You can be like not here, but you could be here, right? When at any given time, you could be wherever. And so you can scan, like, where am I? If I'm here, then it would be more useful for me to find evidence for how that's true here, and to bring myself over here where I see both of them and I'm no longer suffering, and I'm actually looking at the facts, and I'm teaching my brain that it's not black and white, and that I don't have to suffer for something that I believe that's not even true. Okay? So, and the same, you've done this with confidence, I want to tell you, right? You came to me and you're like, I'm not confident, and you were like not on the confidence scale over here in specific cases at work. I believe you're super confident in all, like, so many other areas, right? In your education and how far you've come in your career, but like specific like situations, right, with senior people, you were over here, right? And as we have worked, you created more evidence for how you're confident, and this is why you are able to recreate that in scenarios at work now more and more and more, and it's becoming more of a norm for you to be confident, right? So you've done that before. But the truth still remains that sometimes you're not confident and sometimes you are confident, right? So I thought that you would love this idea of paradox, because it is like a little mind boggler. Like, how can that be true at the same time? And once you like play with it, you're like, oh, it could be. Those both things could be true at the same time. Like, I love applying it to other people, like my husband or my kids. Like, you know, if I'm like, video games are bad, I'm like, oh, video games are bad and good, right? So that takes me out of feeling like a terrible mom when they're playing video games, right? It takes me out of that suffering, because I'm no longer attached to that belief. That belief is causing me suffering. That's the poison. So I kind of like take the poison and take the antidote, and those are the two opposing beliefs that are the paradox. The poison and the anti-venom, antidote, right? So play around with it. I think it's such an amazing thing to apply to so many different things, because it just questions everything that we believe, and gives us the freedom to believe something that's more useful.